recording now, just so I don't forget that. That would be annoying too. Okay, perfect. There's Jacqueline. Sweet. Nice. Okie dokie. Hey, Jacqueline. Okay, perfect. Well, I think we can get started here. I think that should be good. Okay, awesome. So again, thank you everyone for coming. So today we're just kind of go into like an introduction to what our club is, just kind of going through some of our social media. So for our Discord channel, what some of the channels and everything, some of the resources you can find there. And then just like going into basics of production, just to get everyone kind of introduced to that. So if you're a freshman, sophomore, definitely an excellent meeting to be a part of. If you're not totally sure about everything to do with production yet and the pipeline. So we kind of go into that a little bit. And also the difference between a producer and a director, because a lot of people don't know that. When I was a freshman, I did not know the difference between a director and a producer, really. I kind of thought they were this I lumped them in the same category, but their jobs are different. So let's see. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent. And if everyone could scan this QR code that I'm showing here, that would be amazing. I'll give you guys a second to do that. Is everything showing up okay, ladies? Is my screen showing up for you guys all right?
Yes, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, I'll give it like a couple more minutes. We'll probably start at like 5:05. That's typically when I like to start. Okay. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day, and I hope everyone is staying cool from yesterday's shenanigans. If you guys were at Club Connect or Fall Fest, that was definitely a hot one. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. So, welcome to our first fall quarter meeting with APG. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm really excited to have everyone here. Great turnout. So, yay! So, let's kind of get into it. So, the Animation Producers Guild. So, we are a club for producers by producers. So, we kind of go into everything related to production management within the entertainment industry. We just have a lot of really interesting meetings that go into like indie production, different roles, pipeline stuff, just a lot of good like tidbits of knowledge for you to have, especially if you're just starting off at SCAD and you're not totally sure what you're doing quite yet in 2D, 3D, wherever you're at. Perfect meetings, perfect club to be a part of for that. So our mission is to provide a space for SCAD's production management students to learn and grow together. So in addition, as a club, we're excited to expand our network by making connections with industry professionals by means of gaining invaluable insight through guest speakers. So we have a lot of cool guest speakers. And this quarter we have a guest speaker, Allison Shribnick, and that's our next meeting, I believe October 2nd. She's a line producer at Titmouse, and she loves working with students. And she's just great. She's great at answering questions. Just a lovely, lovely lady. I'm also hoping to have a guest speaker next quarter. We don't have the date tied down, but he did work at DreamWorks and he now works at Google, I believe. And he also has a lot of just great information, experiences to share with students. So we would love for our members to attend if they can. And if not, we record all our meetings, so you can always look back at them. So here's some of our past visitors. We've had people who worked at Cartoon Network, Walt Disney Animation Studios, Leica, Titmouse, Lucasfilm, Bento Box, DreamWorks, Liquid Development, and Disney Television Animation. So lots of very big studios, big names. So very cool. So we also like to get recommendations from who you want to meet. If there's like a specific studio that you're like, oh, it'd be so cool to hear some of the experience from that, totally shout it out in our Discord. Give us like tidbits of like whatever you're thinking of. We love to hear from our members and see what they're interested in. We can always like add an additional meeting or add additional information to our slides to go over and cover with you guys. So we love just hearing what students want to learn about. So here's the introduction to our officers for the 2025 to 26 school year. So I'm Caitlin Westemeyer. I'm the president of ABG. I'm a senior right now and a technical animation major, which is now technically VFX, but I don't know. Anyways, technical animation. And I'm interested in production management, modeling, and medical animation at the moment. And I'm currently on a capstone titled Back to Bones, if you've heard of it, as a tech producer. So very excited for that, having a lot of fun with that. And yeah, it's great to meet you guys. And so this is our vice president. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Anna DeAndre, and I am a junior story and concept animation major with also a lot of interest in stop motion animation and animation production. I'm currently the production manager on SCAD Animation Studios' film Lost in Pomegranates. And so I'm having a lot of fun with that, getting to finally apply all of the things that I've learned through APG the last 3 years onto an actual serious project. And when I'm not animating or drawing or writing or navigating shot grid, then I'm usually listening to live music or I enjoy knitting a lot as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. And for our next council member, second here, Savannah, if you'd like to introduce yourself, that would be great.
Y'all have to forgive me. I'm losing my voice a little bit right now. But I'm Savannah. I'm a 3D technical animation major, and I'm interested in maybe going into animation production and developing pipeline for animations specifically for Capstone. So sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you so much, Savannah. And then our next member, Jacqueline, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm a 2D major. I'm really interested in production, specifically towards things like TV shows with animation. I love listening to music as well as Anna. And it's great to meet everyone.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. So, yes, that's awesome. So, what's in store for you with APG? So, okay, not showing up. Weird. Okay, let's see if that weird. Whenever, can you see this when I'm outside of the slides, guys?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I don't know why it doesn't show up for on my screen when I'm in there, but we'll just do it like this. So here's some of our upcoming meetings for the fall quarter. So typically it's always Fridays at 5 p.m. Occasionally it'll be Saturdays like today. This is just kind of a weird one. And it'll usually be via Zoom, which we link in our Discord. And if not, then we'll make sure you know where it's going to be at, if it's an in-person or a hybrid meeting. And typically they're hybrids if we're going to do anything that's like in Savannah. And yeah, so here's some of our meetings. So October 2nd, guest speaker Allison Tribnick with 2DX. So we're going to be doing a collab with 2DX on that, which is great. So kind of a combining two clubs together, which is awesome. 2DX is also a great club. Totally check them out. October 11th, we have dive into scat animation concentrations. So that's where we kind of go in the ins and outs of each concentration that scat has to provide for animation and different majors. So if you're not sure what you want to do yet, what do you want to major in, but you're interested in animation, definitely attend this meeting. This will be in person and I think it's hybrid actually. So you can join via Zoom or you can come in person and have some fun snacks and everything. It's very cute, very fun. And then November 1st, we are going over how to run an indie production, which is great. Always fun if you're interested in doing your own project and building a team and everything. So, and then winter quarter, here's some of our dates that some are going to be decided later on, but these are just some of the titles for some of our meetings. So career fair prep. So before career fair, we kind of go over what to expect for that, what to look for and everything. And then January 5th, is LinkedIn and networking. So that's always important, especially for newer students to learn how to build up your network of people because a lot of times when landing those jobs, you're going to want to network. That's how a lot of people land their first gigs and everything. It's through knowing people and yeah, and just how to reach out to people if you're interested in like an interview with somebody who's working at a studio that you're interested in. How do you reach out to them? How do you talk to people? It can be really nerve-wracking. So it's a great meeting. February 13th is the internship roundtable. Typically, we have some guest speakers at that who explain their experiences with finding internships. We just go into the ins and outs of finding an internship and what to do for interviews, everything. And then our guest speaker, which is a spoiler that I mentioned earlier, worked at DreamWorks, Meta, and Google. And yeah, and then for spring quarter, we have how to level up your production skills, which is great. And April 17th, how to set up a pipeline. And then this may or may not happen. The capstone mixer. This kind of didn't happen last year, but it did sort of. It just isn't titled a capstone mixer. It's more like introducing. So instead of like everyone's pitching, it's more just introducing the chosen capstones, if that makes sense. So again, once spring quarter comes around, we'll be sure to advertise whatever they decide, and whatever date and time that's at. And also, this is kind of when we have our like tryouts for officers, if you're ever interested in being part of our council and everything. We're also kind of doing this year round if we need extra help and everything. So that's not like a definitive, but typically near the end of the school years when we're looking for other officers for the next school year. And yeah, so tell us what you want to see happen next and everything. Again, like we love hearing input from students. And I'll kind of go into our Discord, so some of our channels. So our events are listed in the events channel thingy in Discord, if you find it right there. We'll put like the times and everything, the Zoom links there. And we also have a Google Calendar you can join, which I believe that we have directions posted in our Instagram. If not, I'll post them later again. If you want to join our Google Calendar, so you get reminders for our events if you ever forget or anything. So our announcements channel is where we always put our the announcements for upcoming meetings, the posts and everything for you to save the dates and everything. And we also put our Zoom links there too. So if you're like, oh shoot, how do I join this? Just look through announcements. Our Zoom links will be there underneath wherever that meeting is. Yeah. And then some of our other channels. So our production tab here with production help, production questions, resources, the Jedi Council and everything. This is for producers to help producers, and this is where you can find production management resources if you are interested in being a producer on a project. Yeah. And then this section, the career tab, this has a lot of people post their projects and collaborations. So if you're looking for a project to be a part of, look through here. You can find updates on potential internships and jobs and find career resources, which is great. And yeah, it's just really helpful to look through there. There's always interesting information. And then if you want to catch up on missed meetings through recordings, you can find those in our APG events. We post the recordings after the meetings are finished in there. And you can find and promote other events outside of APG and even SCAD through here. So people are always posting in there. It's always cool to, scroll through if you're looking for something to do. And then our YouTube channel is where we post our recordings. So you can find this through that tab. But if you just want to look up Animation Producers Guild on YouTube, we have our playlists of our recorded meetings from like past years and also this year, which is 2025 to 26 year. And yes, that's always helpful to look through. And that's kind of all for our introduction to our club so far. So I'm going to move on to our next slideshow, which is what is production? Let's see, go up here. Hopefully this works now. Is this still looking good, ladies? Slides wise?
Yes, it's looking good.
Okay, good. Thank you guys. Okay, perfect. So what is production? So what is animation production? It is a complex multi-stage process for creating animated content, starting with initial concepts and ending with a final film, series, or video. This is a structured workflow and it's known as the animation pipeline. And it's typically divided into three main phases. So we have pre-production, which is like concept work, script writing, storyboarding, designing, just getting your ideas down, knowing what you want to do, style frames, everything. Those are important for getting the visual on what your film is going to be and the story down. Get the story down. That's a very important thing. And then the next phase is production. So that's modeling, rigging, animation, all the, fun stuff after the concept work. So you're bringing that into either like a 3D software and everything, or for like 2D, it's beginning to doing roughs and everything. So yeah, and then post productions, that's editing, sound, visual effects, voice acting, all that stuff, all the after stuff. Again, this isn't always, sometimes you're going to be doing some of that beforehand in different phases. This is just a rough outline of what that would look like typically for a production, which is cool. And then what is production management? So production management is the planning, organization, and guideline or guidance of a production process and pipeline. So we'll kind of go into a producer versus a director. So, what is the difference? So, a director is someone who's like interpreting scripts, overseeing auditions and casting, organizing the crew, framing shots, coaching actors or voice actors, whatnot, mediating conflict, editing a film, whatever, supervising post-production work. So again, they're typically more of the artistic, like they're leading the artistic vision typically. Sometimes they're the ones who come up with the idea, but also producers sometimes have creative liberties too, where a producer might come up with a creative idea and then get a director down the line. So it's not always a director being the one who has the idea first. It can sometimes be one or the other. A producer typically manages a budget, is scouting for filming locations or softwares, whatnot, hiring the crew, overseeing script development, supervising business operations, creating a filming schedule or a schedule in general, marketing and distribution of the film. So figuring out like film fests or whatever, or wherever they're going to be putting their film next after it's finished. So it's a lot of organization work. It's typically more about organizing, keeping a film on track and making sure it's being done in a timely manner. So we'll move on to what does a producer do in school? So this is this is pretty good to know if you're like interested in just trying out what a producer role might look like on a school production or school project. So we plan and organize a project schedule. We create a system to track assignments and create systems for manage file storage. So for naming conventions, file paths, whatnot. We recruit, organize, manage, and support the team. We plan, organize, and guide the pipeline. And we're also managing platforms, so with communication through Slack, Discord, whatnot, and just file storage. So again, a lot of organization, keeping something on track, and also talking with people. So conversing with other students, with your peers to make sure things are on track. That means going through like to animators, to technical people, to sound people, to concept people. It's talking with all those people and making sure there's a smooth transition in whatever phase you're in and people are communicating well. And so, what does a producer do in the industry? So producers work with the writers, executives, coordinators, managers, runners, and directors. So they're managing departments. So you're kind of like the head dude who's making sure things are going smooth between departments. So that's a lot more people than you would be talking with in a student-led production or at SCAD. So it's much more people, but again, it just means you need to be a good communicator with individuals. And then delivering on time. So timely delivery, that's within budget and to the best creative brief. So again, it's making sure things are done on time, that are within the budget and not exceeding that, and are done to the best possible, to the best of your ability, basically. and finding financial backing from distributors or broadcasters, predicting production costs. So again, a lot of like finance stuff. So if you're interested in like all that stuff, that a producer role is very good for you if you're looking to do that in an industry level job. And yeah, so it's again, it's finding like how can we get this financial backing for this project? What can we do? So we kind of go into that later, but producers have a deep understanding of animation. Animation producers have a deep understanding of animation and its creative possibilities. So again, it's not just, you're not always like the mean guy who's talking about finances and stuff. You also need to have an understanding of creativity and what is possible for a film, also being realistic with that. In larger companies, producers might be more focused on management, whereas in smaller companies, there's more potential for a producer to oversee creative decisions. So you'll probably find that in student-led projects that a producer is also working with the creative decisions. But in larger spaces and company studios, whatnot, they're probably more focused on the management side of things. So think, and they also think of all the ways they can bring in money for a project, so that including raising finance through merchandise. So that's kind of fun. If you're interested in like, how can I broadcast this project through social media? How can I merchandise this project so we can raise funds? If you're really good at that and you're interested in that, then that's also a great thing to be, if you're, then you should go towards being a producer, honestly, if you're interested in that. So a lot of them go to film, TV, or art festivals to meet people who might be able to fund projects or work as partners. So once again, it's a lot of communication with people, and talking, reaching out to people. And yeah, if you like reaching out and learning new things and talking with people, then a producer is a pretty good role for you. So why do we matter? We are the silent heroes and the backbone of the project. We're very important. So we provide the direction. We consider a project's long-term goals. We keep the project on course by hitting deadlines and ensuring work is flowing down the pipeline smoothly. We're the stability. We're a reliable source of information and resources. We're the organization. We track, document, note take, record, and and et cetera, all information, and manage the platforms that the production is using, which is whatever they're using for communication, file storage. We support people. We assist artists in leadership. We give feedback, and we care about the well-being of a team. So understanding the team dynamic and each individual and their health, and making sure you're being sympathetic, but also realistic. And accountability. So we ensure that work is being completed at a reasonable and steady pace and being submitted on time. And tons of more stuff. We're the backbone. We're the people who stay behind, and we're not always thanked for what we do, but we're important parts of the process. And so, what are some skills to have as a producer? So, you want to be detail orientated, or yeah, cooperative and a team player, a communicator, have some people skills, know people, being sympathetic. Again, being patient and understanding with people and their what issues they might be going through, what they can and can't handle, having creative problem solving. So, knowing how to work things out in a creative way, being tech savvy, understanding the tech or whatever you're using for a film, for an animation, whatever, being knowledgeable and having a willingness to learn, time management, organization, prioritization, and just being able to have fun too. And making sure a big part of our job is to make sure people are having fun and are not upset or feeling stressed out. That's a very important thing. You can't always push people to the max. You have to make sure your team is working well with each other and are doing all right. So some software to know as a producer or just in general is understanding Microsoft Suite, Google Suite, and Adobe Suite. So those are good, like how to explain that, like bunches of softwares to understand. Management platforms such as ShotGrid. ShotGrid's a big one. That's a industry level software to use. A lot of SCAD projects will use this. So I definitely recommend that. Asana, Basecamp, Trello, and Jira. Those are some other names for some other management platforms. I really only know Trello, but these are probably other good ones to look into. File transfer platforms. So where are you putting the files at and how are they being spread to each individual? Where are people putting everything at? So the protocol for that. Typically we use FileZilla here at SCAD. That's what I use for uploading and sending files around. File storage platforms like Dropbox or like Google Drive, all that stuff. Communication platforms, just Slack. That's more of like a professional Discord, but Discord's also good. It just sometimes you'll find like at SCAD, some professors don't like Discord because it can be a non-professional atmosphere, if that makes sense. But the problem with Slack is that you have like limited amount of memory in there, while Discord you do not have that problem. So again, it's a lot of the softwares you'll find some softwares are more confusing or have some more cons than others. But so you just kind of have to know like works best with this project. So like for Slack, that might be a better for a like indie production or like a more professional thing. But if it's just like a small project, just use Discord or whatever. So again, whatever feel you feel fits your project and whatnot. And the production don'ts. So you shouldn't lead with dictatorship and hostility. Being a producer, uh, it doesn't mean you're a dictator. It means you're working with people. You're not, so, don't act like you're everyone's like boss and blah, blah, blah. Like you're their friend as well. They're somebody to rely on basically, instead of somebody that's, beating them with a stick and telling them to keep going. And don't lead without empathy towards your crew. So understanding that people have their own lives outside of their work and things come up, especially as students. People get stressed, things are going to happen. When you go into a project, know that like, hey, not everything might work out exactly how we planned, but expect that and then understand how you can work around that is what I try to think about whenever I'm going into a new project, a new production or whatnot. And yeah, just being kind with people and so don't lead without improving. So it's everything is a constant learning source. Like you're constantly learning whatever you're doing, especially when you're a newer student and you're doing a new project. You haven't been a part of something before that's like involving like 10 or more people. You're going to be constantly learning and like write that stuff down. Like take what you learn with you. And be like, I don't know, write down like what worked out in this project and what didn't, and what can I do better, and what can I look out for next time. That's always important. Don't Another don't is not practicing or promoted communication. So again, being like locked down and people not talking to each other will always lead to aggravation. So having people communicate in a calm and understanding way and just in a fun way is important. Making decisions without considering the project's long-term goals or consulting a director. So again, consulting people, you're a team. You can't just like go out of your way and make a decision without consulting people. That's always important in every aspect of a project. Assigning tasks without knowing the artist's abilities or consulting the director. So again, if you're assigning tasks to people, without making sure they can handle it, or if you're giving too much to one person and not another, and you're not checking in on those people, because a lot of people on especially in student projects are going to be quieter. They're not always going to be like, hey, I can't do this. I have a hard time with being like, hey, I can't do this today, or I can't handle this. I need to push this on to somebody else to do or whatnot. Just making sure people are being honest with you and you're checking in on them is important, because a lot of people have a harder time explaining that they might not be able to handle something. And spreading out resources, do not spread resources out across multiple platforms. So I like to have a hub where, like, even if it's like, let's say you have a bunch of concepts everywhere, they're all in Discord, they're also in ShotGrid, blah, blah, blah. Have a place where you can file them all in one area for people to find, whether that's a Google slide or a folder in Dropbox or whatnot. So they're not just like spread out between Discord channels or ShotGrid or whatnot. So that's always important. And yeah. So, how do I learn more about production and the pipeline, whatnot? So, attending APG meetings or other production related events is always a good option. work on collaborative projects at SCAD. So that could be doing extra help, if you can, on senior capstone films, looking into SCAD Pro and the projects there, SCAD Animation Studios and what you can do there, and just indie productions or just student projects, whatever you can get your hands on to start learning a little more about communication and whatnot, whatever you're interested in. Talking to industry professionals. So that's like informational interviews, which we kind of go into that more in LinkedIn and networking. So, how to reach out to people in the industry and asking them questions about their experiences so you can kind of get a grasp on things. There's tons of people who love talking to students and they're like, oh, I have all this knowledge that I've never shared with anyone. This is a great opportunity to kind of give that to someone who's interested in doing what I do. So you'll find a lot of people like that. And again, just keep reaching out to people. My favorite quote is like the worst thing they can do is say no. And yeah, attending guest speaker events and learning from those industry professionals, going to panels, Q&As, all that stuff, applying to production related internships and mentorships. Allison Shribnick, our guest speaker, she actually does mentorships with students, and she's just amazing. If you're like, I want to have a mentor to kind of guide me through my career or what to expect after graduation, that's always fun. But you can find that almost anywhere. Like sometimes if you just reach out and you're like, hey, I really need a mentor or whatnot, can you like meet with me or whatever? Some people really love that. And again, the worst thing they could do is say no. So that's not, again, it's not the end of the world. Seeking certifications and education through online or in-person courses. There's tons and tons of certifications and online stuff and like even LinkedIn Learning. Like you can find tons of education through there. I love LinkedIn Learning because you can like watch a bunch of tutorials on stuff, and then you can add that certification that they give you at the end to your LinkedIn so you look all fancy. There's tons of stuff out there. You just have to research, lots of researching. So, with researching, here's some additional resources. So we have Gillian McDermott's How to Set Up Your Shop Grid project tutorial, Tamara Lee's production coordinator YouTube channel, Disney's filmmaking process website, Puka Noodles' animation resource sheet, Google Project Management certificate, and my favorite, the APG resource directory. I don't know if I can go into this today, but I might go into this another day. But this is or we're just going to go to it. Never mind. Scratch that. So is this showing up for you guys? Okay, ladies?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is the APG resource directory. This is our baby. We keep all of like our cool like links and websites and like books and everything here for like club and animation department links, animation pipeline info, chakra tutorials, animation pipeline templates, essential reading and listening, just tons of stuff. We have more stuff down here. It's awesome. So I think this is linked in our Discord. If not, I'll probably put like an announcement or something being like, look at this, or just reach out to me if you want to find this. Oh no, it's also in our link tree. Actually, if anyone has a flyer or if you just go to our link tree in our Instagram, you'll find a link to this resource directory. So this is great if you want to do some outside learning and everything. Yeah. And okay, let's see. And so here's some of our upcoming meetings. So again, our guest speaker, Allison Shribnick, and dive into scout animation concentrations. And these will be posted on our Discord too. We update our Discord every week if there's a meeting coming up. So just keep an eye out for that or join our Google Calendar. So yeah, that's what's coming up next. And so does anyone have any questions? Thank you guys so much for listening and being in this meeting. If anyone has any questions, like feel free to put some in the chat or whatever you want to do, like shout them out, whatever you guys want. It's also okay if if everyone's good. So I just always like to give a couple seconds for anyone who wants to ask a question or whatnot. Let's see. I have a friend who wants to become a producer but does not go to scatter. Leave it allowed to. Sure. I don't see any problem with that. You should, if you you can give them a link to our Zoom or to our Zoom to our Discord for them to join if they'd like, or just send our Zoom like link or whatever you want to do. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, even if you're not a SCAD student, I feel like it's really important to just like have a network, even if it doesn't include SCAD students. So I have no issue with that if you'd like to let them join our Discord, Jamie. So thank you very much. Yeah, that's awesome. A supervisor and a producer, or let's see, read difference between a supervisor and a producer. So supervisor, so if we're talking like a bigger production, I'd say a supervisor is more like somebody who's looking over like a certain department. So like animation department, concept department, or whatever. Supervisor is more like a another branch in the pipeline or whatever, or how do you explain that? Another branch for a producer to talk through. So instead of like a producer having to talk to like a bunch of individuals in one department, they could talk to a supervisor of that department and discuss things. And you can also have that in like in smaller like productions too. Like for instance, being a tech producer, you could say I'm a supervisor of the technical animation people in our capstone. So I talk to our main producer about what our tech people are doing, updating him on stuff and making sure everything's flowing easier. So sometimes it's just easier for a producer to talk to one person than like a huge group at times. And does that kind of answer your question, Reed? Okay, cool. And feel free to ask away on our Discord too if you have a question like later down the line. I would love to like look into stuff for you if I'm not sure myself right now, and I will totally get back to you on anything. But yes, feel free to ask away in our Discord. I will totally answer questions about everything. I will research for you guys. I will do whatever to help everyone. I love just like I don't know, I like having community where everyone can kind of answer questions and talk with each other and go over stuff and research together. So that's awesome. Let's see, is there any more questions or is everyone doing all right? Where can I recommend some work? Ooh, what do you mean by that, Elle? Like recommend someone, could you be a little more specific with that? Sorry, Elle. Recommend someone as a special speaker. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm totally slow. If you go into our Discord and you can go into either the general like chat or you can go to let's see. Let's just go to our Discord real quick. Sorry. I think it's in here. Let's see. Sorry, my computer has I have 20 million things open right now. But gosh, well let's just sorry guys, this is taking forever. Actually, I'll just tell you now. So in our Discord, I'm gonna open it on my phone real quick and kind of go to it because we have so many channels. Sometimes I'm like, which channel should we go to for that? I would say in suggestions, in the suggestions channel in our important tab in our Discord, put your suggestions for like, hey, I'd really like this somebody from here to reach out. Can you like start asking around, see if somebody can come talk to us at a meeting? Or just other suggestions. Totally put them in there. I will look at them and I will do what I can to get that for you or find someone that can talk with us as students. And yeah, that's a great place to put that in. Yeah, no problem, Elle. Thank you so much for reaching out and asking. Let's see, is the next meeting on Thursday or Friday? Because it says the second, but that's a Thursday. Let's see. Yeah, you're totally right, Reed. It is a Thursday. So we were originally having it on a Friday, but now it's a Thursday. I think that's what worked for Allison. Um, so that should be, let me go up here. Did it say Friday there? Ugh, I'm a dingus. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll update that. It will say Thursday. But yes, October 2nd. which is a Thursday, at 8 p.m. That's still 8 p.m. Via Zoom. That will be our guest speaker time. Typically, they're on Fridays, and but yeah, that will be a random Thursday meeting. Unfortunately, we do have to sometimes go out of our Friday rule to have guest speakers on because they can't always fit into the 5 p.m. Friday mark, which is understandable. Let's see. Anastasia says, will we be having any meetings other than the ones already planned that are more casual, just to hang out and get to know everyone? That's a really good question. So we only have these meetings planned out. We only have about 5 or 4 meetings per quarter, but we can totally have a casual one where I love making good slideshow. If you have how about like you suggest if anyone wants to suggest to me like, hey, can we have a casual freaking meeting where we can all just talk about this topic? Put it in the suggestions channel in Discord because that would be really fun. Like especially if people really want to just have a casual meeting that I'm so down to do that. So definitely put a suggestion for a topic in there. That makes me so happy. I'm so happy that like, yeah, that you're interested in having like another meeting like that. That's a great idea. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Any more questions, guys? Let's see. If not, then let's see. Then I think this was great. I really hope this was good for you guys and you guys might have gotten something out of this. I'm really excited for our upcoming meetings and to continue having you guys part of our club. And thank you so much for attending. Here's some sorry. Here's some QR codes to our some of our other social media if you want to find our Google Calendar and our Instagram here, which is awesome. Yeah, but other than that, I think that's all I have to share for today. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Awesome. Well, thank you so guys so much for attending today. That's all I have for you guys today. And I hope you have a great, yes, thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Oh my gosh, so many cool people. Sweet. Let's see. Okay, I think we just have one person left in here. Okay, cool. I think it's just us, and then one, I think there's one other person here. You can stay, Izzy. It's all good. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I think that went really awesome, guys. How are you guys
Yes,
feeling?
feeling good.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you
Did I
for,
explain things all right?
yes, I think you did a very good job.
Thank you.